Hollywood, filmmaking. This is the Hollywood 2-day film school. You want to spend $100,000? Spend 4 years and go to UCLA, USC, NYU, learn theory, graduate, know how to make a film when everything in the universe is available to you whenever you want it. And then you get your script and you still don't even know how to buy film. Buy film, that's where it starts. So what I've done is I put together a class based on practical street reality of how to make a film, step by step by step. What's a step? When you write a bank check. That's a step. Everything up until then is theory, and you're absolutely right. But sooner or later, you got to start writing checks. Film, lab, camera, sound, light, grip, dolly, permit, insurance, ADR, Foley, M&E, optical track, cutting the negative, color correcting, timing the print. You write the checks, and don't say you believe in hiring the best. That's what they told you in one of those theory 4-year film schools. On your first no-budget, low-budget digital feature, you can't afford the best. You'll afford people that have a lot of enthusiasm, energy, but really haven't done it before. Or you're going to be able to afford somebody that got out of film school that wants to be a second assistant cameraman, a second AC that wants to be a first assistant cameraman, a first AC that wants to be a camera operator, and a camera operator that wants to be a director of photography. So you're going to hire people that are one position up in their job and have never done it before. They're all incompetent, but they're enthusiastic, their energy. Right now, you're going to get the video film school. What's coming are 16 one-hour segments. We're starting the first segment. The first segment is independent filmmaking, so I'm going to spend about the next 55 minutes so you get the basic concepts about how this system called Hollywood really works, and that it's a business, and stop thinking of it as an art form. The next segment, lesson number 2, is screenwriting, how to get the great script, and your job is to get the great script. Next, I'll teach you about guilds and unions, working with them or working around them, but not worrying about them, and hiring the best people that your budget can afford. Then we'll go into pre-production. Really what this is going to be, your vendor and equipment suppliers. I'm not going to be talking about location scouting. I'm going to talk about buy film, rent a camera, hire your sound people, get your lights, write the checks. Here's what each one of those checks are going to cost. Next, I'm going to teach you how to direct. How to direct a feature film when you've never done it before, you don't know what you're doing, and the worst thing possible you're going to do on your first shoot is hire actors who want to act. That'll kill you. You know what's going to kill you? Scene 32, take 1, roll sound, sound up speed, roll camera, camera up to speed. Slated, action. You're the actor, you just did your action. At the end of the shot, I go, good for sound, good for sound, good for camera, good for camera. Actor, how'd you feel? Another take. He wants to act. He wants to act, and he can make it better. Hey, producer, budget. Do you have the money? Do you have the time? Do you have the schedule? You just went over budget. You just went over schedule. Art got in the way. Now, what are you going to do when you tell the actor no? How are you going to direct? I got to teach you how to handle this situation. It's going to start happening time and time again, starting on the second day of the shoot when the actors are all frustrated with you. How to direct your first feature film when you have a relatively incompetent crew. You really don't know what you're doing, they don't know what they're doing, and you have actors that hate you after the second day of the shoot. Now, let me give you a class on how to direct, because that's your first project. Then, I'll teach you how to shoot. The rest of the check writing is going to go during the shoot. Film permits, film insurance, you know, all these non-exotic things, but you got to write the checks. Next, we're going to go down to post-production. Who do you think writes the checks? The film edit, the sound edit, ADR, Foley, M&E. And then we're going to add up all the numbers, and I'm going to show you how to make a feature film, and we'll add up all the numbers, we'll see what it cost. But then we'll see what was our budget, and then we got to squeeze it in. And at the end of the day, then I'll go down to what if you only had 100,000, what if you only had 50,000, what if you only had 20,000, and we're going to leave today, I'm going to show you how to shoot a 35 millimeter Dolby Stereo film, feature film for $5,000. And if you really want to produce, really want to direct, go do it. And by the way, don't kick attitudes of, since I'm so smart, why don't I do it? The answer is, I'm a teacher. I don't want to. I want to teach it to you, you want to. So you finally got somebody that's giving you the information. And you finally got somebody that's not making it difficult. You want to direct, you want to shoot a feature film, you want to call it digital, so you rent one of those cheap 3-chip digital cameras. We're using them right now during the shoot. You can buy them for $3,000. Why are you buying them for $3,000 when you rent them for $150 for the day? So you rent one for the day for $150, pick it up on Friday, return it on Monday, get a script that takes place in one room, dressed up stage play, get you 12 actors, bring them into the room. What does 90 minutes of mini DV tape cost? $6? So $150 to rent the camera, $6 for the tape. You want to get light and microphone, put $100 for each one of them. You just shot your feature film, first digital feature for under $500. You want more information? I'm sorry, class is over. I'm sorry if I don't make it difficult. You want me to be the teacher that makes it exotic and mysterious and difficult? There is more stuff to it, but there. Let's shoot a movie in real time, 90 minutes. Go do it. Stop talking about it. Let's get into action. You'll know how to make a feature. Then the other 8 segments are all about marketing, selling, and distributing your film. Here's the bottom line that you got to understand about distributors who say they're looking for new talent. We are not. Watch what happens when you make a feature film, you spent your money, and you're now broke. Let's see if you even get one of us to look at 5 minutes of your tape. You'll find the reality of that. Oh, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to go to festivals, you guys say. Okay, what festival are you going to go to? Oh, I'm going to go to Sundance. All right, let me ask a simple question. You're all very intelligent. What does Redford charge to go to Sundance? You're business people. We're allowed to talk about it. What is this? The emperor has no clothes? What does Redford charge? He makes a profit. Don't talk to me about art. It's business. Somebody stand up and answer. What does he charge? And by the way, wait, give me numbers. And if anybody ever has an answer, stand up. And if you get it wrong, I'm going to embarrass you so bad you sneak out of this room. Because we're not going to waste time. Anyway, here are the 16 lessons come up. Let's cut into the first lesson. Lesson number 1 right now. Independent filmmaking. Let's get real. First off, let me get you real. Independent filmmaking. Lesson number 1, basic rules. First off, the 4 basic concepts. Here's what you got to understand about the film industry. Number 1, it's a business. It's not an art form. Anybody ever hear it called show art, film art? It's the film business, show business. Making a film and selling a film is business. It's not art. Don't talk to me like art. By the way, I do agree. There's this side of my brain that says it's art, which you've been hearing all the time. I agree. And I agree, filmmaking is art. But now let me be the first teacher that teaches you the business of making the art, and then the business of selling the art. But I can't teach art. Start thinking about filmmaking as a business. Next, we're a filmmaking industry. No, we're not. We're all about film marketing. We're not a filmmaking industry, we're a film marketing industry. And your first phrase in marketing is the P&A budget. P&A budget stands for print and advertising. You've read time and time again that we spend 2 to 5 times the cost in marketing a film, releasing a film, than in making a film. So when's it going to sink in that we're a marketing industry if that's where all our money goes to? We're a marketing industry, but we need something to market every now and then, so we got to make something. We don't like making something, because look at how much crap we make. Every one of you in this room has been to a movie in the last month, or 2 or 3 of them that are crap. And guess what? We got your money. And we didn't give it back to you, did we? And you complained, and you're going again next week, and next week, and next week, and next week, and next week. And you never get your money back. By the way, we try to make the best film possible that crosses over to the largest demographics possible, to get the biggest box office possible. And in so doing, we make Wonder bread. It's just blah. You want to make a great story. Okay, but I want you to think about marketing, the P&A budget, print and advertising. And we only market 2 things in the movie industry: names and budgets. We'll get into that in a moment. Name, budgets. Every movie you've ever read about, you hear, who's in it, what does it cost? 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 Never mind the story, you don't care for the story. Who's in it, what does it cost? Who's in it, what does it cost? Third concept you better understand. Most of you first-timers are currently trying to figure out how to make a deal to make a film. And you keep wanting to take classes about financing and deal making on how does Hollywood work to finance you to make a feature film. I'll give you the information. The phrase is first make a film, then you'll make a deal. You guys are trying to put the cart before the horse. You're trying to figure out how to make a deal to make a film. It won't happen. First, you got to be what you say you are, an independent filmmaker, get your own money, make a film. And if you demonstrated your talent, and it is amazing talent, not just that you got it done, then we'll come to you on your second film to make a deal with you. And maybe we'll even come to buy your first film to make a deal with you. But we're not going to finance your first film. Hollywood doesn't finance people's first thoughts. When you really don't even know how to buy film stock. I haven't taught you yet. So how do you get $20 million to make a feature film? Here's how Hollywood works. There are only about 7 companies in the entire world, and they're actually called the major studios, and they're all here in Los Angeles County: Warner Brothers, Paramount, 20th Century, MCA, Universal, Buena Vista, Disney. And if you want $20 million from them to make a feature film, here's all they ask you to do. First, go out and make an excellent $2 million feature. Get your opening title credit, single title card. Get that film out in the industry, and it makes a lot of money. Who in this room on Monday can write a check for $2 million and cash it? So you're not going to start there, so stop talking about a $2 million low budget. That's an amazing amount of money. So how do you get $2 million? Well, there are about 20 companies, distributors, called the mini majors, that when they combine with a paid cable network or a video distributor or a foreign sale agent, will get you $2 million to make a feature film. Here's all they ask you to do if you want $2 million from them. First, go out and make an excellent $200,000 feature. Get your opening title credit, single title card, get it out there. I bet you there are 1 or 2 of you in this room that are either wealthy enough or can get a group of investors together and sell 20 units at $10,000 each and raise $200,000. Then what you'll probably do is what we call a $1 million feature, although we make them for $200,000, and it's a 35 millimeter film, 3-week shoot, working with 1 Guild SAG on a limited exhibition agreement on a 6-to-1 shooting ratio. By the way, I'll teach you all those nuts and bolts in the other lessons coming up. Now, of the 40 of you, 2 of you can start at $200,000. Now, of the other 38 of you in the room, how do you get $200,000? Make a $20,000 feature. You getting the concept? Isn't it not difficult? First, make a film, then you'll make a deal. You want $20 million? Make a $2 million feature. You want $2 million? Make a $200,000 feature. You want $200,000? Make a $20,000 feature. That's where everybody starts. You start at the bottom. Film schools seem to put out there, start at the middle. And of course there's one fairy tale every year which fuels everybody, but it's not reality, guys. It's a fairy tale. Play lotto. The odds are better, I think, on that one. So what I'm going to be teaching you today is how to make your first feature film in the cash budget range where you're going to be at, which is $20,000 to $200,000. That's where everybody starts their first feature film. We'll get to that in a couple of lessons from now. So we got down there. Next, bottom line. Here's what every one of you want to do. You all want to be rich and famous, don't you? So here are the 7 things it takes to be rich and famous. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 7, least important thing it takes to be rich and famous in the film industry. Least important of the important traits. Talent. Let's cut right to the chase right now. Anybody in the room with no talent? Who has no talent? Whose shoes are on the wrong feet and they're not even tied? Who has no talent? So you get this? I'm not going to spend. You want me to spend an hour, 5 hours giving you baby talk, rah-rah, about talent, heart, passion, all that rah-rah stuff that they do at film schools for 18-year-olds who can't make their beds? I didn't say talent is important. It's important. By far, the most important thing is, number 1, script. 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 Anybody hear that? Did you hear me say the word treatment, outline, concept, marketing plan, poster? I said the word script. Screenplay. 90 to 120 pages, done. And there are only 2 types of scripts that come to Hollywood. And don't anybody waste my earlobes with some dribble that you wrote the script and you've got some wonderful feedback. There's no such thing as wonderful feedback. Did the person that read the script buy it, finance it, fund it, purchase it, or option it? Did they? No? Then it stinks. I'm sorry if I'm the one that's got to tell you the information so you can move on with your life. You wrote your script, and if you gave it to somebody in the industry that has the ability to finance something, and if they love it, they will purchase it, finance it, fund it, or option it. But if they don't, they're not going to be rude like I'm sort of being rude right now to you and say it stinks. And they can't tell you why. They're just going to say, it's a really good story, I really like it, it's a wonderful outline, it's set up really well, but here's the killer line. Act 2 is a little weak. Act 2, that means there's no story. Act 2 is a little weak. Script is by far the most important thing. We'll spend an entire lesson, the next lesson, on getting the great script. And it's not that expensive to do, but it's not guaranteed. Getting the great script is the most important thing. Let's get into marketing. There are two things we market in the film industry, names and budgets. We're going to get into now what are called the CNCs, cast and crew list. Let's say you have a little bit of money, you're about to make a feature film, and you get into, about 3 days before you shoot, you want to get your cast and your crew together. You're going to get if you're going to get organized, you get a sheet of paper that you actually call the CNC or the cast and crew list. And on the top, you type cast and crew, and then you know everybody in every part, you put their name down in their part, and then every crew position, their name down, and to the right, you put every phone number, pager number, beeper number, cellular number, where they can be reached at for the next 3 weeks. And then at the bottom of the page, you put your vendor and equipment suppliers, film, lab, camera, sound. And if you're really organized, which you better be, on the back of the paper, you put the 2, 3, 4 locations, and then you put a map with driving instructions on how to get there from north, east, west, and south, because everybody comes from different directions. So to get your shoot together, the first thing you're going to be doing in marketing is cast and crew lists. But there's another CNC. In order to get your cast and crew list together, everybody wants to talk about the second CNC, which is compensation and credit. You'll find out that everybody in the film industry, when you say you're a producer, you're about to produce a feature film, everybody wants to help you. Everybody wants to help you. Has anybody given you any money yet? That's the only help you really want. You know why they really want to help you? Because somewhere down the road, you might get some money, and you'll give it to them. Thanks for that help, bozo. But eventually down the road, when you want to hire your production designer, your film editor, your cinematographer, whatever, eventually they're saying, I want to help you, but you know what they're going to eventually ask for? What are you paying me? Compensation. And please get ready for it. It's a low number. Get very comfortable with saying low numbers, and don't be embarrassed by it. Just start off right away. It's $300 a week. I know you make $500 a day. And it's one of those shoots. We're working 18 hours a day. Do you want to do it? Straight shooter, right up there, don't be embarrassed. Compensation. And you know what? Every one of these crew people that have been saying now for the last 4 months that they'd like to help you, like to help you, like to help you, now when you're telling them you're paying them $400 a week, they're going to act like you just insulted them. Huh? But the next thing they're going to ask for is, what's my credit going to be? They always ask, what's the credit? Now let's get into credits. It's part of marketing. There are 2 sets of credits in the feature film. The opening title credits and the rear title crawl. The opening title credit and the rear title crawl. And what we're going to get into now is producers. Producer is an opening title credit, and there are about 7 different types or 6 different types of producers. Producer, opening title credit, new phrase, single title card. When that person's name comes up there on screen, nobody else's name comes up there on screen. Opening title credit, single title card, a producer. Now here's the problem with you beginning filmmakers of why you're never going to be producers, directors, because you can't even say the word producer. You invariably walk around and somebody says, well, what are you doing? You meet somebody brand new and they say, what are you doing? You know what you always say? I'm a filmmaker. You know, my kid's 30 and 29. 10 years ago, they asked me one day, hey, Dad, I'd like to be a filmmaker. And I quickly said, no, you're not. You're going to get a job. You're going to get a job. If anybody ever says they're a filmmaker, I know what you are. You're out of work and you have no job. And I hope my daughter doesn't date you. You know what you want to do? If you want to make a feature film, you want to be a producer. Producer. And you can't be a producer if you can't even say the word. If somebody says hello and asks you your name and then asks you what you do, and then you're scared to say the word producer, your career's over. It ended right there. It went no farther. But what you guys always say, and what everybody, I'm a filmmaker, because that's so antiseptic clean. Well, it's not cool, guys, to be a filmmaker. And from now on, you go to a movie tonight, you stand in line at the movie tonight, and somebody's standing in line in front of you, and they ask you, what's your name? Hi, what's your name? Judith. Hi, Judith, what do you do? And now for the rest of your life, you're going to say the magic word. I'm a producer. I'm a producer. You might now produce something. But you're scared to say that word, aren't you? Because you know that tough question that's going to follow. You just opened Pandora's box. You're scared to be real, aren't you? You're a producer. You know what they're going to ask you? Really? They got excited. It always starts with really. Now comes the tough question you're scared of. What have you produced, or what are you producing? Now here's what I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you the 9 amazing words to say now that every Hollywood producer says all the time. Now you know the 9 words, and you say these 9 words, they'll go, oh, wow. You ready for the 9 words? Hi, what's your name? Judith. What do you do, Judith? I'm a producer. Really? What are you producing? Here come the 9 words. Write them down. Don't laugh, and underline them, although, thank you, you'll probably laugh. You ready? 9 words. Hi, what's your name? Judith. What do you do? I'm a producer. Really? What are you producing? Here are the 9 words. I have numerous projects in various stages of development. I have numerous projects in various stages of development. Is there anybody in this room right now that does not have an idea for a film? Does not have an idea for a film. So congratulations. In the name of the Father, Son, and Sam Shapiro. You're a producer, you're a producer, you're a producer. You all have numerous projects. Your ideas are projects. You know, if you don't believe in yourself, I'm not going to believe in you. Nobody's going to believe in you if you don't. And each one of your ideas is a project. You're in various stages of development. What are you? You're in pre-production and script development stage. Congratulations, you're now a producer. Now shut up, producer, and get the script. And don't fall in love with typing, make it great. That's your job, guys. Now, after you get the script, what's the next most important thing in the film industry? Money. I can teach you how to make a film for very little money, but you still need something. Now do you see this sort of yelling teacher makes a little bit of common sense up here when he flippantly, about 5 minutes ago, said talent's the least important thing? Because the bottom line is, I don't care how much talent you have, guys. If you don't have the great script, it's useless. And then even if you have the great script and the amazing amount of talent, but if you have no money, I believe that's cancer. You're going to die of frustration and anxiety and negativity in your life. The 2 hardest things to get in the film industry, without a question of a doubt, are the great script. I didn't say typing, I didn't say a script. The great script and a little bit of cash. There's nothing easy about those 2. The great script and a little bit of cash. So if you have the great script and a little bit of cash, what I'm going to be teaching you in the other lessons, 3, 4, 5, and 6, is how to manufacture your product cost effectively. And if you have the great script, a little bit of cash, you manufacture your product cost effectively, and you do it uniquely, which I don't know how to teach, with talent, I think you're amazing. And you'll make a deal. And you deserve to get all that ridiculous money we give you after you do it once. But don't expect this system called Hollywood to believe in you when you're not even a first-timer yet. You got to go demonstrate and do it. So producer, opening title credit, single title card, get the script. After you get the script, go get some money. So after producer, the next opening title credit, single title card is called the executive producer. You get the script, slap on a budget, and now you got to go find some money. And if you're not a real estate salesman, a car salesman, a type A type of hustler, then you got to partner with somebody. And most of you have to partner with somebody that's sort of pushy. And that pushy person is going to be called the executive producer. So if you don't have the money, but you got the script, you got the budget, and you really do have the talent, then you go find somebody and just ask them right succinctly up front, I need an executive producer. Would you like to be my executive producer? And then you partner with that person. Your job is make the film. Their job is pay for the legal work and get the money. And here, I'm going to cut you right to the chase. The easiest way to get money, in one of the lessons I'll show you how to do it. The easiest place to find financing to make a film is in the phone book. Go to the yellow pages. Turn to the letter D. Dentist, wealthiest group of stupid people in North America. Dentist. You're going to laugh and chuckle, and come a year or 2 from now, you're going to read some article in the New York Times or LA Times about this no-budget feature film. It's going to be a 1-page, 2-page article with a couple photos of somebody pointing, And then you're going to see one line in there that this guy or gal, after trying Hollywood and giving up on his dream, the system didn't believe him, he met a doctor or dentist. And it happened. And you're going to go, son of a gun, that obnoxious teacher from 2 years ago was right on, and you just wasted 2 years by not going right to the phone book, picking up the yellow page and going, hello, Dr. Abramson, I don't know how I got your name. I was wondering if you're interested in the opportunity of investing in a feature film. Can anybody tell me how many dentists in Cleveland get that phone call? In Tampa get that phone call? And you're putting together, remember, you're realistic. You're only trying to raise $20,000 or $200,000 or $300,000. So you're selling 10 units at $20,000 each. It's doable. And each one gets 5% of profits if there are any. We'll have an entire lesson about how to do that. No questions on that. So you're the producer, partner with somebody who's the executive producer that does the legal work, gets the group of investors together. But while doing that, what's going to happen? Let's say you're looking for $300,000 to make a feature film, and I'm the doctor in Southern California that owns all the MRI machines at the hospitals. After philanthropy, after taxes, I take home $7 to $15 million every year. I'm just the poor doctor. I don't even care about home health care. And dentists, by the way, the HMOs haven't hurt dentists. That's why I said dentists, not really doctors. But I'm still the wealthy doctor. You know what? I have no son and no daughter. You seem to be enthusiastic. You seem to know about the industry. You want a check from me? $300,000 to make a film? Most people are hitting me up for $3 million. Now, I could write the check to you, but you don't know I exist. We've never met. So let's say tonight you're at a bar, restaurant, you sit down at the bar, and this lady comes up, and you're sitting next to her, and besides the normal thing, she asks you, what do you do? And you don't say the word filmmaker. You say you're a producer, and then she knows me. And she says, oh, I have this client who's is interested in investing. I bet you buy her another drink now. And I bet you want her to introduce me to you. We know you do. So here's the thing. She knows she's got to get you on contract now, because once you introduce him to me, you're out of the loop. We don't need you anymore. You're gone. So what you're going to do is write up, it's basically a cocktail napkin. It's a performance and a finder's fee contract. You'll state that if you find me the investor who gives me the money, whatever number you want to put in, 3, 5, 7, 10%. What you'll do, though, is make sure you put in what's called a performance clause, that she has 90 days or 6 months from the time she introduces you to somebody to make that person give you the check. And if that time expires, you can talk to me directly. So now it sort of puts her in a little bit of a pressure situation to be the motivator also and the salesman for you. You tie that one up. Now you got your contract together. Now you come to me. I got the big 10,000-foot square house. Hi, what do you want? $300,000? That's all you want? Okay, I can do it. What do I get? You think that's not going to happen? What do I get? Yeah. Oh, art. What do I get for $300,000? You know, of course, we'll talk about splitting and profits if there are any. And you'll start with the 50-50 deal. Investors get 50% of profits, usually, not necessarily, and if there are any profits, which there rarely are, but if there are, they get 50%. By the way, here's a check for $300,000. Can we negotiate? It's negotiable? Okay, I want 90%. Let's negotiate. And if you say anything except, thank you, Dove, darling, the deal is off. Is there somebody else in this room right now that wants a check for $300,000 to go make a film? Anybody in this room want a check for $300,000? Who is not raising their hands? And you can have a salary while learning how to make a film. That's reality. That's not taught in film school theory. Well, maybe it's 70% or whatever. Oh, by the way, get ready for this. It's going to happen every time. I have a girlfriend. I have a boyfriend. I have a mother. I have a brother. I have something, can you get them? You think that's not going to happen every time? It's not a joke. Get ready for it. It will happen, and you're not saying no. What this person is really saying, what title do I get? What title I'm giving you $300,000. What do I get? What title? The first thing they'll negotiate is how do we split, if there are profits, of course. The next is, I want a title credit. And the dentist doesn't know the word opening title credit. So where this pops up now is now the phrase co-producer. Co-producer pops in. Go to a movie tonight. I'm actually starting to teach how to make a movie. You know where you start? With the titles. Nobody else started there. You just want to get into location scouting and casting stars. Talk about all that dribble. And it hasn't happened yet, has it? Well, I'm the great teacher, and I'm teaching how to make a movie from where it starts, with the titles. And now you're learning about the titles. Co-producer, when you ever saw a feature film, go to a movie tonight, that's your homework, and you're going to see the titles up there. And if you ever see the phrase co-producer or co-production in association with, those people didn't do anything. They just wrote a check for 20 to 50% of the financing. If it's a company, it's a co-production association with. If it's a person, it's co-producer. We put it up there. So now you're starting to learn the difference between a producer, an executive producer, and a co-producer. By the way, this thing with you and I isn't going to happen without this lady here. I bet you she wants some title credit. So now let's get into associate producer. Invariably, she'll get the title credit associate producer. What does an associate producer do during pre-production? Nothing. What do they do during the shoot? Nothing. What do they do during post-production? Nothing. So why do we have them there? Because she isn't introducing you to me without it. So we give it. It's the freebie title, the giveaway title. Nobody in the film industry wants that title. Everybody in the film industry knows the associate producer did nothing. They drive around, they massage people's shoulders, they go pick up somebody's dog. They do nothing. Producer, executive producer, co-producer, associate producer. These are all opening title credits, single title card. Now let's go to the rear title crawl. Here's what happened in rear title crawl credits. The credits come up. We got the Lumen crane shot that goes up in the sky that tells the audience, get out. You know it's over as soon as that shot goes up above the trees. Do you know what we are in the film industry? We're in the business of renting seats and selling sugar. That's the entire business. We're all about renting a chair and selling sugar. That is not a joke. That's where the money comes from. Renting a chair and selling sugar. Renting a chair and selling sugar. So the idea is we want to get you out of the theater to get another group in so we can turn the chairs over more times every day. Rent the chair and sell sugar. The rear title crawl credits, the Lumen crane shot goes up in the sky. 50% of the audience that's young usually stands up, starts leaving. Another 30% are old cockers like me. Will sit there for a while. When I sit in one position with my knees crossed for 90 minutes, it takes me about a minute to unfold my two legs. Then I stand up, and my wife will stay there for another hour. Hon, it's over. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Excuse me. And then about 20% of the audience sits there looking at the rear title crawl credits. I really believe these people belong in a 12-step program for compulsive, obsessive, rear title crawl credit readers. What are you learning with all these credits you've been looking at in the rear title crawl credits, and what are you staring at? It had a sound person? Look, somebody in the crew is nicknamed Skippy. Wow! What have you ever learned and you've never remembered a single name? See that movie up there, Jurassic Park? That's a decent budget movie. Production manager, that made a whole lot of money. Watch this. Here's a $100 bill. Somebody stand up with a $10 bill in their hand and tell me the production manager of that movie. You all saw it. How about Titanic? How about Pearl Harbor? They're amazing logistic films. You all knocked them. They made an amazing amount of money, and we didn't care about the story, and we delivered on every frame in production value, and you all saw it. I don't care what you felt about it. And it made a lot of money, and the first credit in the rear title crawl credit is the production manager. Stand up with some money and tell me the name of the person. You stared at it. Here's what I just taught you. There's no marketing value to be having your name in the rear title crawl credits. No matter how many people stare and look at it, they don't remember anything. And remember, we're a marketing industry. You got to get something made so then you can market from the producer of, writer of, director of on the second project to get a deal. And if your name's in the rear title crawl credit, it doesn't mean anything. It's like you're in the masthead of the LA Times. Who designed the sports page today? Nobody really cares. Although some people seem to stare at it and they seem to have no life. You're on a date, go out, go get some nookie. Get out of the room. But here's what I'm telling you. The first name that comes up in the rear title crawl credits is the production manager. But a lot of times we'll hire this person, and this person doesn't want to have a rear title crawl credit. They would like to be in the opening titles, so then we call that person a line producer. A line producer is just a production manager with an attitude problem. They've been around for a while. So guess what? You know the 7 types or 6 types of producer now. Producer, executive producer, associate producer, co-producer, line producers. All those names, you've been looking at all those movies in the opening title credits, you sort of have an understanding now of what's going on under the credits of what they did emotionally to get that credit that's there. Resources. You want to make a feature film, let me give you your resources. Your first resource, get a book, the directory, a production directory. Wherever you're shooting anywhere in the world, there's a bureaucrat that's called a film commissioner. A film commissioner is not in the job of helping filmmakers. Film commissioners work under the Chamber of Commerce or Department of Trade, and the job of film commissioners in Oklahoma, Nebraska, or Toronto, or Winnipeg is to hustle us producers to get us to come to their city, town, or state, bring our money from here and leave it there, and hire local people and help their local economy. So what every film commissioner does is publish a directory of who's who in Oklahoma, or Northern Florida, or Southern Florida, or New Orleans, or the film commissioner from Louisiana, or the film commissioner for the city of New Orleans. So wherever you think you're shooting, you contact the local film commissioner. Their association is up there on the web, www.afci.org. Call the film commissioner, talk like a producer, say you're shooting a feature film, they'll ask the budget, inflate it, because they get more excited, and then they will instantly FedEx you their directory. Free, it's free when you talk like a producer. And now, this is your phone book for what's called below the line. We'll get into when we do budgeting so you understand above the line and below the line. This is your technician, your crew, your vendor suppliers in the local area. So the first resource that you get wherever you're going is get the local directory. I'm walking over here to the books. Local directories, a lot of times, here's the local directory for Los Angeles, Southern California, the LA 411. Now, you'll find out that New York, Southern California, Northern California, London, Toronto, Vancouver, the film commissioners don't publish the directories, because some little entrepreneur got in and started publishing themselves and made it better, but they sell it for a profit. So the major cities, you'll buy the directory from the local bookstore, or the smaller cities, the smaller states, the smaller nations that are just so excited about you coming and bringing some money there, they'll probably publish their own directory and give it to you. Books, let's get into the next resource. Books, bookstore. First off, on the web, I have the biggest bookstore for the film industry in the world, webfilmschool.com. Webfilmschool.com. I have all the books for producing, writing, directing, digital filmmaking, budgeting, scheduling, paperwork, contracts, agreements, broken down into their groupings that's there with my opinions of which one I think are better, or if you want to get 2 or 3, here's a good 2 that doesn't overlap a whole lot, etc. Next, there's an excellent bookstore in Los Angeles, Hollywood called Samuel French Bookstore. Their web is not good, but the actual physical bookstore is wonderful, but it's more geared towards actors. It's very good for directors and filmmakers. It's great for actors. My website is better for directors, filmmakers, but Samuel French Bookstore is excellent. There's a couple of bookstores in New York, Applause Bookstore, Drama Bookstore, in Toronto, Theatre Bookstore, Vancouver has a decent bookstore, London has 2, Sydney, Australia has 1. That's bookstores when you want more depth of how to do budgeting, scheduling, cinematography, lighting, etc. It'll either be my website or Sam French Bookstore, where it's at. Next, software. There are computer programs for screenwriting, formatting. There are computer programs for screenwriting, storytelling. There are computer programs for budgeting. There are computer programs for scheduling. Where do you get them? Well, there's one store in Westwood, California called the Writer's Store. Writer's Store. They're on Westwood Boulevard. It's an excellent store that has all of them, and they have a very good website that's up there. writersstore.com, writersstore.com. There's another competing website up there, screenstyle.com, that I like, screenstyle.com. Next, paperwork forms, blank budgets, agreements, contracts, checklists. Where do you get your paperwork from? One, there's a store, Enterprise Stationers. Enterprise Stationers in Hollywood. It's an excellent paperwork store that has some generic forms and budgets that are very good. If you don't have the ability to come to Hollywood, then you're going to get a book that's like this book, Film and TV Contracts, with a CD-ROM in it that prints out legal forms. That's very good. Next is this book over here, Complete Film Production Handbook, with a CD-ROM in it that prints out forms, checklists for shooting, not contract for hiring and optioning. These are some of the basic books that are there. So resources, supplies, where are you going to go now? Let's go resources. Get your local directory. That's the first thing. That's your phone book of who's who and who to call. Next, books, webfilmschool.com or Samuel French. Next, software, Writer's Store, screenstyle.com. Next, paperwork, budgets, forms, agreements, checklists, contracts, Enterprise Stationers, or a couple of the books that are there. So let's do slowly now, about another 5 minutes, we'll do a wrap-up on this section. But let's start off right now once again. You understand how I talk and how I'm teaching. We're getting now the 16 lessons. The first lesson, this is just about let's get real. Approach this industry as it's a business. It is an art form, I agree. Let's approach it as a business. But let's be realistic. Let's stop calling low budget $1 million or $2 million. That's not low budget. That's a massive amount of money. You know what low budget is? $4,000, $18,000, $47,000. Any of you really able to write a check and cash it for $100,000? You want to call that low budget? That's a lot of money. $150,000, $200,000, $250,000, $300,000. What I'm going to do in the rest of the lessons, the next 7 lessons, is show you how to take anywhere between $5,000 to about $300,000, which you'll have access to for your first feature. And I didn't say the word short. Shorts, in my opinion, are dumb. I'm the only teacher in the world that says that. Does anybody know anybody who ever made a short and sold it? And sold it. And sold it. So your first and last business decision in the film industry is to spend all your money on something you can't sell. I call that stupid. So let's make something that you can make and sell, which is a feature film. But I know you're scared of making a feature film. It intimidates you, that word. So let's make a feature film you can handle. What is the first feature film that everybody starts with? I'll make it sort of a joke right now. Here's the formula film that everybody starts with. And when I teach you screenwriting, all movies are 90 to 120 pages long. We say that 1 page of script is 1 minute running time when typed properly. So all movies are 90 to 120 minutes long. And you understand now the film business is about renting a seat and selling sugar. Fascinating thing about movies, no matter what the budget is, when you put a movie in the movie theater, the price is the same. Be it $50,000, $500,000, $5 million, $50 million, or $500 million. The price of admission is the same. Every other entertainment event, concerts, sporting events, theater, they're all different prices. Only the movie industry, for whatever reason, and the reason is it's sort of a union of consumers banded together that feel they own the film industry. We like that as distributors because it makes us easy to manipulate the consumers. But they demand that everything be the same price. So now if you make a feature film with a budget of $50,000 and get it in theaters, and a distributor makes a feature film with a budget of $50 million and gets it in theaters, the price of admission is the same. It's going to be a lot easier for you to make a profit. But there's going to be a lot more competition for that $50,000 slot to get into theaters. Well, if you make it for $50 million, you'll be in, but you might be gone in 1 or 2 weeks. So what I'm going to do is teach you how to make your first feature film in the cash budget range where you are really at, $5,000 to at the most $300,000. And between a 90 to 120 page script, if here's a 90-page script, here's a 120-page script, and you don't know what you're doing, do a 90-page script, 30 less pages of problems. I just saved you 25% of the problems on your shoot right there. And what's the storyline? Here's the storyline that everybody does for their first feature film. And don't you deviate from it, and don't you deviate from it. This is what everybody does on their first feature film. So it's a 90-page script, and here's the drama. How many times have you seen this movie? Here's the story. You take 12 kids to a house and chop them up. How many times have you seen the movie? How many careers has it started? And you're still a seminar junkie. Now, I didn't preach do a slasher. That genre does seem to work a little bit more than not, even though I don't like the genre. But what I just taught you really is your first project is going to be a dressed-up stage play. Take your 12 actors to one location. The family reunion, the courtroom drama. Keep it simple. 90-page stage play. What I'm going to be teaching you to make in the next 7 lessons in physically making on a budget of between $5,000, a little bit more than $300,000, is somewhere between Clerks and Sex Lives videotape. You know, even Hollywood, we love doing this no-budget scam thing and calling it a big budget. A couple of years ago, you saw a movie with John Cusack in it and Ray Liotta, Identity. Let's take 12 actors to a motel and they sleep there, and it's a 2-week shoot. Remember a couple years ago, there was Colin Farrell in a movie, Phone Booth? It was a 10-day shoot, Phone Booth. Remember 2.5 years ago, Jodie Foster, Panic Room? Even big budget Hollywood does it when they want to spend no money. But they put on the smoke screen. So you're grounded now, guys. Our first project, I got you now grounded. You're approaching us as a business. The first feature film you're going to make is going to be this $5,000 to $300,000 dressed-up stage play courtroom drama. I already taught you how to finance. Most of you came in this room with a script or idea that you want to finance. And I already gave you the great class on how to finance it. First make a film, then you'll make a deal to finance that one. What I'm letting you know is put that project aside now for your second project. Put it aside for your second project. Because I guarantee you, if I did a shooting schedule and a budget on that one, even if the cheapest way, it's going to come out to too much money that you're not going to get access to. And I don't care how great the script is, you're not going to get the money. And then, even if you got the money, which I super doubt, I bet you there's so many locations and props and stunts and some other things in there that it's logistically too difficult to handle when you've never made a film before. So let's put that great idea, great script that you have, that you are so excited about getting financing for right now, let's put it aside for your second project. First make a film, then you'll make a deal. Let's move the decimal place in your budget one place to the left. And that's the amount of money you guys can come up with. And now let's go home and get the script that takes place in 1 room or 4 houses within a 2-block area. The 90-page stage play, family reunion, etc. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. That's what we're going to be doing. So that's it for lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 coming up is now script. How do you get that script? There are 3 ways of getting the script. 1, write it yourself. Okay, put in your budget. Go over to Kinko's, buy 2 reams of paper. What does that cost? $7? Put that in your budget. Script, $7. Start typing. Now, what if you're not going to write it yourself, which, by the way, I'll give you a crash course on how to do it. Then you're going to hire a writer to write it for you. It's technically called writer for hire. Then I'll show you how to hire this person, but being a business person, how to do it cost effectively. Writer for hire is the second way. And the third way is dealing with what are nicknamed spec scripts. Scripts that were written by people like you speculating that you might sell it someday. So we nickname them spec scripts. They've been written for free. In Hollywood, there are probably 3 million spec scripts bouncing around. And let's say you stumble into one and you read it and it's perfect. I don't think you heard that. Perfect! Not it's good, not it just needs a little work. That means it sucks. It's perfect. Then you purchase it, but you're going to be a good business person. I'm going to show you how to do a down payment and option the property and tie it up for 3.5 years for a very small check like $100 or $1,000. That's the next lesson coming up, getting the script. Script is by far the most important thing, but it's not the most expensive thing. Thank you very much for lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 coming up shortly.